Hi everyone, my name is Chris Martin. Welcome to Keto with me. It is day 27 of my journey back into keto. New to my channel, check out my day 0 video where I cover the reasons of why I created this video series. Okay, let's take a look at the clip. All right, that was the day 27 clip. This is my first day back after being gone for 3 days. Woohoo! Home keto home. I can't tell you exactly, I mean, how excited I am. I mean, it just, yeah, it's fun getting away. It's fun doing, hanging out with family and, and being somewhere else. But at the same time, when you're trying to do something like this, get yourself back into, back into my, deep into my journey, it just, kind of throws you off a little bit. But yesterday went really, really well. Back on drinking water, eating better foods, and just all around just feeling a lot better mentally and everything. So let's go to the numbers. As you saw from the slide, my carbs were 11.6. That's really good. My blood glucose is 76, which is fantastic. It's back down in the 70s, so I love it when it keeps going down. My ketones are the highest they've been so far, which is 2.5. I'm pretty sure I haven't had one since that high yet. And then my weight is 216, so I have another loss of 0.3, giving me a grand total of 18.4. So I'm feeling, pretty good about that. My macros are exactly dead on, which I'm play the lottery because, they're right on. 75 for fat, 5 for carb, and 20 for protein. So, woohoo! Right on with the numbers. So, again, glad to be back. And just, I'm 3 or 4 days away from launching the channel. So you guys will see the videos. So, all right, that's it for the daily recap. Let's talk about my goals. Let's take a look at day 27, end of week 4 goals. See if my pit of success is working. I feel like it is. It seems like it's working really well. Right off the get-go, you see sleep 7-0 up. I kept myself in the best category from the last few days. Even though I had all that travel, I still slept good when we were gone. So I'm feeling really good about how my sleep has adjusted to being on keto and just all around way better. So moving on to eating, you'll see that I still had some momentum coming off of that trip where I had that semi-forced fast. I ended up getting 23 hours of fasting yesterday, and that explains why my glucose, which I mentioned, and ketones were so good, 76 and 2.5. So I'm really stressing my body, getting it to, stop being so insulin resistant and dependent and everything else. So kept myself in beast mode on that category. For style, dirty clean. I didn't move myself up like all the way, because, I still had a couple of things yesterday that were, dirty. Actually, at least one, I had some cheese, some packaged cheese and stuff, and someone would argue that you know, if it's a good quality natural cheese, that you shouldn't be doing that. So I don't think I'll ever just come out one day and just be like, hey guys, I'm clean on this. I'm just gonna probably always leave it, you know, dirty clean, you know, with the focus on clean. Moving on to macros, 11.6 on the carbs. That was really good. Having really no problem, you know, keeping that number down. It just, you know, on that one part of the trip where I couldn't really estimate things well. So I kept myself in beast mode on that, and also higher fat. That's because my macros were exactly where I wanted them. You know, I want to try to keep the fat as high because, you know, there's always, we talked earlier, you know, in the series about, you know, low carb, high fat. Now, a lot of people have, you know, they can get into the low carb, but then the mentality of it is you have to have high fat, and that's really, really hard to convince folks that you got to really do that, you know. So, and it's easier for sure when you're home, because you see my numbers while I was gone, they dropped down, and you know, and so there wasn't as much high fat. I might have been doing okay on the carbs, but I wasn't doing great necessarily on the high fat. Now I'm back there. Woohoo! Learning, you know, watched a video yesterday that I'm excited to share. I think it'll help, you know, with some ideas of traveling next time. And then tracking, as always, got my, you know, journal filled out, got chronometer filled out, got my spreadsheet tracking. So I'm doing great in that category, so I'm killing it, kept it at beast mode. Meditation, relaxation, I'm back to, you know, I did 2 yesterday, 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon or evening, and that's looking good. Exercise, non-existent, but hopefully in the future, and that's it for my goals. Let's talk about the day 27 video recommendation. I wanted to, you know, just cover something that, you know, would be beneficial for those situations where you're traveling like I was. We know that if you watch the video that I ate pistachios, I think not once but twice, and why that may have not been necessarily the best choice, but was a better choice than what I had available at the airport and stuff. So I have another video by Dr. Ken Berry. It's 9 minutes and 25 seconds long. The name of the video is The 7 Best Nuts for Weight Loss and 5 That Will Stall You. So, and all his videos, he's been like updating, checking for 2023. So it seems to be still relevant. So I thought it was relevant. I went, you know, watched it, and I was like, oh, okay, this is good. So basically, he said, you know, nuts can be, you know, definitely a part of your ketogenic diet, you know, or, you know, lifestyle. So the one big takeaway at the end of this is that you'll realize, or not you realize, but what he made me realize is that, you know, they're just a part. You know, they can't be your main source, you know, because some of them do have, you know, a lot more carbs, and they add up. So his thing was like, just be careful, because, you know, the one thing is that we typically think of these as snack foods. So because, you know, you grab a handful. One handful is not bad, and this goes back to, you know, the saying that I mentioned probably about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something like that. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. So, you know, it's okay if you get 1, maybe 2 handfuls, depending on how many carbs are in it. But if you keep going back, you're going to end up, you know, you're going to end up paying for it at some point. So, so let's see, what else did he say? He said also that he mentioned 2 things. Some kind of acid, and then also lectin. And he was saying that, you know, be careful, because, you know, those could cause issues with some people. He mentioned that some nuts are actually causes inflammation in some people. So that's something that you'll have to like try, and then if you notice you get some inflammation, then perhaps that's one that you'll want to stay clear of. So I haven't really noticed that, but I got to pay attention, you know, to that more, because that could be some of what, you know, maybe what caused some, you know, some inflammation at some point with me and so forth. So let's see where pistachios is. We'll start. I'll mention like a few things on the number, on the, you know, 1 through 7 list, and then heck, I might just list them all just to kind of give them to you real quick. Peely nuts is the one I remember, like watching his video, one of these like 4 or 5 years ago. He mentioned peely nuts. He says he absolutely loves them. I tried them. I didn't think that they had a really good taste, but that's just me. He said that the downside is that they're typically expensive, and the reason that they're good is because they only have 1 carb per ounce, and I believe he's talking about total carbs on all these, because I remember looking. Number 2 is pecans, which is one of my favorites. I love having pecans available. If you remember watching a lot of my earlier videos for, you know, stuff, I would have pecans and then I'd put butter on them. You know, Kerrygold Irish butter is what I put on them, and it would be like a nice little delicious treat. So they only have 3 carbs per ounce. One of my favorites. And then you have walnuts, macadamia nuts, and as we go higher, we go up in the list, the carbs get a little bit higher, but I think none of the 7 have more than 4. Yeah, it looks like no more than 4. Macadamia is like number 4. Brazil's number 5. Pine nuts is number 6. And then number 7 is actually not a nut, but a seed, which is pumpkin seed. I love pumpkin seeds because at Halloween, you know, when you carve pumpkins and stuff, if you celebrate Halloween, it's nice to have those, you know, roasted pumpkin seeds. And then you notice what you didn't hear. You didn't hear pistachios yet. So on his, I wouldn't call it naughty list, but it's definitely the 5 that you got to be careful of. It doesn't mean that you could never have these. It's just that these are so much higher in carbs that you could end up eating way too many of them. So any of these you can eat. You just have to be careful. So chestnut, cashews, you know, I think we all expected that one to be on there. And then pistachios is on that list as well. And then peanuts, which is a legume, and then last but not least is almonds. And that's kind of the order that he put them in there. And again, doesn't say you can't have any of those. You just have to be careful. So was pistachios a bad choice? It was the best choice for what I had available at the time, and it worked okay for me. And I was way under on my carbs that day anyway, so you know, it kept me sane, and you know, from going nuts, you know, and gave me something while I was traveling. So thinking ahead next time, I probably would pack, you know, the pecans that I like, have them available for going there, coming back, you know, and then, you know, maybe some other, you know, stuff that we can look at in the future. That's it for my daily video recommendation. Hopefully you like it. That's it for day 27, folks. Thanks for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe so you can keto with me. If you got any comments or questions, please leave them down below. Just remember, nobody's perfect. Be a coach, not a critic, and take care.